Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And as promised, I am here today to do a deep dive into Sophie Lark, who is one of my recent favorite authors. She is one of the sweetest humans I've ever met, and I have a full interview with her on my channel. You can go watch it right now. I'll have it linked up here. It was with her and her husband, Mr. Lark, who is her full-time hype man and media marketing, all that jazz. And I just absolutely adore this author, and I've been wanting to make this video for a while. Well, not that long, because I only found her recently, and it was thanks to some viewers who were recommending Brutal Prince to me, which we're going to get to, and I'm very excited. So a couple things I want to say about this deep dive that's going to be a little bit different from some of the other ones that I have done. If you don't know, this is a series that I do where when I read all of or most of an author, I do a deep dive into their work to, walk through their journey. The way that we're going to do this today, though, is we're going to go through my reading journey and also talk about what Mr. Lark says is kind of the best reading experience of Sophie's books for yourself, okay? So that's what we're going to do. There are still about 7 of her books that I have not read, but I feel like I've read the best of the best at this point, even from Sophie and Mr. Lark themselves say so. And I just wanted this video to be out there before The Spy comes out, which will be the wrap up of the Kingmaker series. And I wanted to get this video out to kind of inspire people to dive in so that you can experience The Spy with everyone, with us together, okay? So as I said, we're going to go through my reading journey. And then at the end, I'll quickly mention the ones that I haven't read, and we'll get to it. So, I got to leave room for when we put some pictures up. But what I started with was the Brutal Birthright series, which is, I think, what a lot of people get a hold of first. I have 5 of the 6. I still haven't bought one of them yet because money, but I'm working my way up to them all. So the Brutal Birthright starts with Brutal Prince. This is an arranged marriage between Ada and Callum. So it's Callum Griffin and Ada Gallo. I believe I just said that right. And they are from kind of competing mafia families. There's not a full out rivalry between these two families, but they don't really get along. And there happens to be a party that Ada and a couple of her brothers sneak into that's being held at the Griffin's mansion. And Ada causes some drama, okay? And because of this drama and what's happening, tensions are spiking, and their fathers say, you guys are going to cause a war that we cannot afford. So to cut this, to stop this, we're going to make you two get married. So Ada and Callum are forced into an arranged marriage that neither of them want to be in, and it is a rivals situation. They torment each other, and some of it's a bit childish, some of it's a bit dangerous, and all of it is very sexy. And the way that these two come to respect each other, and this is something that I'm going to mention over and over again in this video, and it's from the mouth of Sophie Lark herself. She writes, intelligent women and strong men and supportive men who, though they may start in an enemy situation here, they very quickly understand the value of the woman in their life, the woman who is the target of their affection, and they don't fuck around, okay? So this one has, I think, kind of the roughest start, and if you don't love this one, it's okay, because one of the things I will also mention again and again is that each book by Sophie Lark is very unique. She may redo a trope now and then, but she very rarely does something twice. Like, there aren't really repeats, okay? This isn't a case where an author just plugs in, oh, I want this trope in these characters and we make it happen. They're all extremely unique. So the next book in this series is Stolen Heir, and this is about Mikolaj, I don't remember his last name, Wilk, Mikolaj Wilk, and Nessa Griffin, okay? So Nessa is Callum's youngest sister, and she's a ballerina, and she isn't neglected, but she is kind of kept out of the loop of everything. So the older siblings, they're more involved in the family business, and Nessa is just kind of left to herself, to, you know, do what she wants and be a ballerina and live her life. And her family thinks that they're doing her a favor by keeping her out of the life, but they actually have left her pretty vulnerable. And so Miko, he wants to get revenge against the Griffins and the Gallows for something that happens in the first book. And so he hits their weak point. He makes Nessa disappear. He kidnaps her and takes her, and he doesn't crow about it. He doesn't ask for a ransom. None of these things in the beginning anyway. He just makes her disappear and watches the chaos happen. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. This is a slow burn attraction to each other, and it is a completely different story than Brutal Prince. So something that I would say is that I've had some of my friends start with this book because they heard that maybe they wouldn't like Brutal Prince, so they go ahead and started with this. You can do that. I think you should still try Brutal Prince, but know that if it isn't your jam, that you could still fall in love with one of her books, because again, she doesn't write two stories the same. The beauty of these two coming together, the grand gesture that Miko makes, the way that I believe that they fell in love, that this wasn't a Stockholm Syndrome situation, but a meeting of the minds, is amazing. Then there is Savage Lover. This is the one that I don't own a copy yet, but I will. And this is Nero Gallo, so Ada's brother, and Camille. This couple is amazing. Camille is a mechanic and she's running her father's shop. He is having some health issues and she has a younger brother who's starting to get involved in some things that he shouldn't be. And so to try to help out, she ends up getting involved in a situation that her brother's involved in. And then she runs into Nero at a party and they have this kind of, like, it's said that it's a bully situation. I didn't totally feel that. This, spoiler alert, this one, like, wasn't my favorite in the series. But some people it is. Some people absolutely love Camille and Nero, and that's just the nature of reading books anyway. It's still very well told. It's very beautiful, and I look forward to bringing Nero and Camille home to me. But there you go. Then we have Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark, and this is the oldest Gallo, Dante Gallo. This is Ada's oldest brother. Did I say that? Ada. I'm sorry, I get Gallo and Griffin messed up all the time, even though I know this couple. But this one, we've known from the previous books that Dante had a love and it didn't go the way he wanted, and so he ended up joining the military and being gone for quite a while. He does not want to be part of the family business, and he just has no interest in any of it. Like, he doesn't want any part of it. And in this book, we get to meet Simone, who was that girl that he loved, and things didn't work out when they were young. When she was 18 and he was 21, 22, things went badly for them, and she ended up leaving him, knowing that she was with child. But she was scared by the Mafia life. She was the daughter of a, what's it called? Not a congressman. I always forget what it's called. A diplomat. She's the daughter of a diplomat, and when she sees the sides of the Mafia that Dante is involved in when he's young, it scares her, and she listens to her family when they tell her she shouldn't be with him, and it causes her nothing but pain for years. So 9 years later, yes, that's right, they are back in each other's orbits, and the crows have come home to roost, okay? The chickens, whatever, has come home to roost, and it's time to pay the piper and tell Dante what's been going on. And there is a real good reason why this one's called Bloody Heart. And Dante is my stoic, strong military man with a ooey gooey center who has just tried to hold it together all this time. And when he has his woman back, it's heartbreaking. It's beautiful, but it's heartbreaking. Then we have my personal favorite in the Brutal Birthright, and that is Broken Vow. This is about Riona Griffin, who is Callum's sister, his middle the middle sibling, his oldest sister, and she's a lawyer, and she's a lawyer for her family. She works at with the family business, helping keep them, the side of them that is within the bounds of the law. And she is in some danger. There's someone trying to kill her. There's something that she knows that they want, but she doesn't know what it is that this person wants, and they're trying to kill her. And so Dante, who is her kind of brother-in-law, because right, their siblings are married to each other, so they're in-laws of each other. He has a military buddy named Rylan, who they asked to come be her bodyguard. Okay? Now, at the beginning of this book, she's very resistant to that. She doesn't want anyone watching her step or protecting her or anything. And they're like, it's not a game. You've almost been murdered. Rylan is going to be the shadow of your steps, and he's going to protect you. And when things escalate even further and things get really serious, he whisks her away to his family farm in Tennessee, because that's right, Rylan Boone is a cowboy. And he brings this mafia princess, lawyer, badass career woman to his farm. And it is everything. Riona is a tough chick, okay? She is a tough chick. And hearing Sophie talk about where the inspiration for Riona came from and why she wrote this woman is so beautiful. I highly recommend you check out my interview, shameless plug, to understand why. But she basically wrote it for her fans who are lawyers, and I love that. And a lot of women maybe don't like reading about the prickly heroine, but I saw so much of myself as a single, independent, strong career woman in Riona. And when this perfect man is offered to you, there's a lot of like self-discovery you have to do. And I love this. And this is a book with a grand gesture that comes from the heroine. The groveling needs to be done by the heroine, and it is beautiful. It's freaking beautiful. This is the next audiobook that's coming out. I pre-ordered it when there was the audiobook sale that happened this last week, and I'm so excited because I can't remember his last name, but he does a lot of audiobooks. He's doing the voice for Rylan, and I'm so excited. And then the last book in the Brutal Birthright series is Heavy Crown. And this is about Sebastian Gallo. I think I'm right, because this is Ada's brother. This is her other brother. She has 3 brothers. So yes, that's right. There's 4 Gallos and 3 Griffins. Okay, keeping them straight. And this is actually the youngest brother, but he is the one who's going to be taking over. Nero and Dante don't have an interest in being in charge of the family business. So that leaves Sebastian. Sebastian originally would have been in the NBA. But at the beginning of this series, something happened that stopped that from being a thing. So now he's kind of set up to take over for his father someday. And near the beginning of this book, Sebastian saves a girl named Yelena who's being assaulted in an alley. Not really, she actually handles it herself, but he is absolutely enamored with her, and they end up dating and falling in love. Little does Sebastian know, she's a honey trap for him. But Yelena, who is a Russian Bratva princess, doesn't want to be involved in this. But she doesn't have a choice. The things that happen in this book are devastating, but they also set up the Kingmaker series, which is where we're going to go to next. All right, so next up we have The Heir. This is the first book in the Kingmaker series, and this is about Leo Gallo, who is the son of Yelena and Sebastian, and Anna Wilk, who is the daughter of Anessa and Miko Wilk, okay? And now they've grown up as almost cousins, but they definitely are best friends. They are not genetically related in any way, okay? Because they're just not. I'm not going to show you the family tree, but there are family trees available in the book because Sophie knew we might be a little confused, so you can definitely check those out if you buy it. But anyway, Kingmaker Academy is a mafia college for the Mafia children, to teach them to be heirs, accountants, spies, and enforcers. Okay, those are I believe that I got that right. Those are the 4 main roles that you can have at Kingmaker Academy. And Anna and Leo go there, and they meet some other people. So someone else who's going to this school is Dean Yennin, who happens to be Sebastian's, not Sebastian, Leo's cousin. And he has a POV in this book as well. I don't want to tell you why, because reasons. Well, we're going to get to those reasons soon, so it's not a spoiler. But we're introduced to all these children of Mafia people and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. I don't want to say too much about this series because this series is amazing. Just the fact that this was inspired by Hogwarts and inspired specifically by Draco Malfoy. If you'd like to know more details about that, you can definitely watch the interview with Sophie where, I mean, I'll tell you in my words too, but she wanted Draco Malfoy to have a more satisfying arc. That she believed that once a character like him was removed from the toxic environment of his family, that he would actually have a chance to have redemption. And so Leo is not based on Draco. Dean is based on Draco. And it is an amazing adventure. So these are amazing. They definitely get thicker as we go along. But this is an amazing series. Then the next one in the series is The Rebel. And this is about Miles Griffin, who is the son of Ada and Callum Griffin, and Zoe Romero, who we've never met her parents before. But Zoe, at the beginning of this, is actually engaged for an arranged marriage to an absolute psychopath named Rocco. Now, Miles, he is a player, and he is a dude who knows what's going on at Kingmakers. He's got his hands in a lot of pies going on, and he stays under the radar. He doesn't want trouble. He just wants to get through this school, and he's not even planning to lead the Mafia life. He's planning to make connections while he's at this school, and when school's over, he's planning to go to LA and be a money maker and a money provider for people in Hollywood, and just really have all the connections and everything. And then he meets Zoe, and he is immediately affected by her. And he sees the situation that she's in, and he is immediately affected by it. And he starts making plans, and he starts spending time with this girl, and he is going to find a way to get her out of the situation she's in, as well as make an HEA for the two of them. And I'll tell you, I love this boy. I love this man. I love this girl who is fierce. And yes, she may need the brain that Miles has and the manipulation that he's going to do on her behalf to save her from this horrible man. But she is not a wilting flower, and she is a tough chick, and there's a reason why she's at this school. So I absolutely love this. The third POV in this one is actually her sister, Kat, is Zoe's sister, Kat. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. But now, since I'm going through these in the best reading order, according to Mr. Lark, and I'm also telling you my reading journey, that had been my reading journey thus far. I read all 6 books of Brutal Birthright. I read the first 2 books of Kingmakers. I'm slapping my stacks that you can't see. Then, The Bully was not out yet, which is book 3. So, what I did, and is the best advice from Sophie, and she actually says it at the back of her book, that there are characters that we're going to see in The Bully that were introduced in a series of hers called the Underworld series, okay? So this used to be called The Colors of Crime, and the books used to have different names. And you can get all of these on Kindle Unlimited, by the way. All of her books are on Kindle Unlimited. Didn't say that. And so when you start the Underworld series that is in her book pack, because she has a pack with all 8 of them in there, it starts with the book Ivan, okay? This was not originally the order that she wrote them in. However, she reordered the pack to have them have the most impact for you and to keep you engaged as a reader. It was a very smart marketing decision, and having read most of the books in this series, I would agree. So then we took a little trip over to Ivan, and this is about Ivan and Sloane. Ivan is a Bratva boss, and he has had a hit put out on him. Sloane is an American assassin, and Sloane gets sent to kill him. She mixes her toxins and she sneaks in, and she's about to end him, only he wakes up. And as he is choking the life out of her, he has this moment where he's like, how did this woman get in here? How is she so good at this? How did she get past all of my men? And he's stunned that this little wisp of a woman would be able to do that. And so he takes her captive to get information out of her. But it quickly turns into some sexual games, turns into him having great respect for her, turns into an HEA. Then we have Snow. Snow is the book that is the most important before you read The Bully. If you're not going to read all of these, like, I highly recommend you read Snow before you read The Bully, because Snow is a very important character. So we have Snow, who is a underground fighter. He is not in the Mafia, but he participates in these fights that are put on by the Mafia in these pop-up clubs. He's trying to get out of the fighting game in Russia and actually make it to the US to begin fighting there. But there's this one last tournament that the Bratva is putting on that he wants to participate in, because if he wins that, that will be enough to kind of kickstart his career. Then we have Sasha, who is just coming home from medical school and is ready to start. And she comes home to find out that her father is deep in debt to a member of the Bratva. And so her family is in a really dangerous, precarious position because of these choices that her father made. And so she decides to go to the head and offer herself. Now, not in the way you might expect. She offers her services as a doctor. And she says, for however long you deem appropriate, I will be your on-call doctor. And I'll do whatever it is you need me to do if you will release my father of this debt and find a way that he can't get in more debt to you. You know, that was a clever thing of hers. So we come up with this scenario. He says, you will owe me 20 years. I think it's 20 years. I can't remember. And I will now own your father's restaurant, and he can continue to work it for me. So he'll still get his salary, but it will be mine. So he won't be getting deeper in debt, which is a very generous offer that this guy makes. Okay. So she starts getting asked to do these jobs for him. And the way that Snow and Sasha meet is that she is the doctor at these fights. So she's looking after the men after their rounds, and she ends up meeting Snow there. And yeah, it's amazing. So then what you can do once you read Snow is now you can read The Bully. So you'll read The Heir and the Rebel, and then you'll read Ivan and Snow, and then you can read The Bully. Now, this is the POV of Dean and Kat, okay? So those two POVs that we'd had in here, we had Dean's POV in The Heir and Kat's POV in The Rebel. Something happened in The Rebel that Dean witnesses Kat do, and he decides to hold it over her head and make her his slave. And they end up making kind of a sexual deal, and it goes from there. I do not want to spoil this book for you. It is a fucking ride. That arc that she promised there would be for Draco Malfoy, we get that in Dean in here. And Kat, who seems to be this weak and simpering woman, well, here's the thing. Dean knows that she's not, because he's seen what she can do. It's how she ended up in this position. So everyone else might underestimate Kat, but Dean, he will not. And he quickly discovers how seriously attracted he is to this woman, and that it's going to change his life. Now, the third POV that we get in this book is the spy. It is labeled as the spy. We don't know who it is. I'm rereading this series because I want to figure out who the spy is. This book comes out the end of July, and I cannot wait to have it and to know. And hopefully sweet, generous Sophie has said she will come back on the channel once The Spy is out, and I'm going to hold her to that because I want to talk about things. Okay, so now you've read all the Brutal Birthright, all of the books in the Kingmaker series are out. What do you do now? Well, now you can go back to the underworld if you would like. You can read Roman, which is about Roman and Mia. Now, this is a bully romance continued because he was a bully to her when they were in high school because she was better than him at certain things, and he didn't like that, so he was a bully to her. And now she is a reporter, and he is trying to start a casino, and she's supposed to write a report on him. And he's like, shit, this is the girl that I used to bully. So it's like bully romance in the real world kind of thing. Then there is Dom, which is about Dominic and Lara. And Lara has a very controlling dad for certain reasons. And she's not supposed to leave the house or be out in the world. And she runs into Dom, and she experiences more than she ever expected to. Then there is Anton and Violet. And this is the one that I'm currently in the middle of. So I haven't finished this one yet. But this one, I don't even like really know the setup of this one yet because I'm not finished with it. So then the other 3 books in the pack, which again, this is where I am at. Like I haven't read any more than this. But there is Nikolai, Luca, and Black. And these are the ones that Sophie says they were the first ones in this series that she wrote. And so they used to be reordered. And so something that happens, and it's something that I'm kind of noticing as well, is that when you're reading through this, like Ivan, Snow, Roman, Dom, they're very good. You can tell when you hit the books at the end of this pack that they were written by a different style of Sophie. And so I still look forward to getting to them at some point, but I really like how she writes now, and so that's where I like to focus my energy and stuff like that. But this is a deep dive, so we're telling you about all of them. Now, Sophie also has 3 standalones currently, and they are the CEO of Cristo, which I have read. This is about Ethan and Hazel, and it is a retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo. I had a great time with this. There's also Starlet, which is a 1940s Hollywood mystery. And there is Always, which is, I think it's a billionaire romance, is what it is. And Sophie said that these were books that she'd written kind of before she wrote the others, and so they're not as romancy or fun as some of the others. Her words, not mine. So there you go. There you go. Those are all the books written by Sophie Lark. I cannot wait for more. The Spy, as I said, is coming out the end of July. She also has a project in motion where I think she's co-writing a couple things with some authors, which is very exciting. So now just a couple other facts that I want, or not facts, but like things I wanted to share. What my favorites are, because people ask me that. So as I kind of mentioned, like my favorite in the Brutal Birthright is Broken Vow. I love this book. My favorite in the Kingmakers is The Bully. Absolutely love it. And my favorite in the Underworld is Snow. So those are my favorites in each of the series that she's done so far. Honestly, if you're not following her on social media, you absolutely should. You should see her and her husband. They're absolutely adorable together. So definitely check them out. And yeah, I hope you will check out the interview I did with her. I hope you will read these books and support her. And let's just make her blow up even more than she already has, because she's such a wonderful person. And I have so enjoyed reading her books and getting to know her. So thank you so much for watching this, watching me fangirl over Sophie Lark for 30 minutes. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my channel supporters and all that you do. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.